here on HQ Spotlight. We are still on Giannis watch here on Spotlight. We told you in the last block he is staying in Milwaukee. We also told you that the Milwaukee Bucks social media team is having a little bit of fun. Giannis now joining in on the fun. He posted a clip from the movie Wolf of Wall Street. I think you guys know where I'm going here. We're basically saying I'm not leaving. He said he likes Milwaukee. He's also said some other things. So we're going to play devil's advocate here. We've got John, we've got Sam back with us on HQ. And we're going to play where do we think Giannis is actually going to land when this is all said and done coming up this summer. So I'll start with, I believe, Sam, this is your list. So we'll start with you on every time. And we're going to start with the Los Angeles Lakers, a team that you feel like he could fit in. Maybe LeBron clearing the way for another superstar duo. Is that how we're feeling?
Yeah, the Lakers will have max cap space in the offseason. They could just absorb the contract in a trade. They go from having one tradable first-round pick to having 3 in the summer. And then, of course, you could try to sign and trade Austin Reeves to the Bucks as well. Of course, you would need Austin Reeves to sign off on that. And, well, maybe he has other offers that he likes more. A lot of the cap space teams have cleared up, though, so there might not be quite as much money out there for him as he might have thought. So if he could get a max in Milwaukee, maybe he would consider it. There was some reporting from Mark Stein that the Lakers weren't going to factor in at the deadline, but might factor in the offseason. And then, hey, if he does make it to free agency in 2027, the Lakers can just clear the money alongside Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves to sign him outright. So the Lakers do have some paths here. It's not an admittedly great trade package unless Austin Reeves is involved. But if Giannis is a year away from free agency, he has a lot of power to direct his destination. If he says, I want to be a Laker, he probably has the power to make that happen.
Yeah, it's how much agency does LeBron or does Giannis have here, right? Because we have Giannis tweeting out the Wolf of Wall Street thing saying, I'm not going anywhere. And he's given interviews to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel saying that he wants to retire as a Buck and his kids are born there and his dad is buried there and he's not going anywhere. But hold on a second. Like, a lot can change, right? We've gone back and forth and it could go back and forth again. And in the offseason, if he looks around and goes, you know what? The Lakers are pretty attractive. I mean, this is what the Lakers do, right? They get superstars. They're the #1 destination in the NBA. In the offseason, it's basically base camp for the NBA. Everybody comes out here. So I could see Giannis looking around and going, pairing me with Luka could be something. That could be awfully attractive. And as Sam mentioned, they could have up to 3 first-round picks. It's not as attractive a package as they could potentially put together just by what could they offer, but 3 first-round picks, and then you wave it in front of Giannis and say, come out to L.A., maybe.
It's going to go from that meme, the Wolf of Wall Street meme, to the kid who's like throwing up the peace sign and then he disappears. That's going to be the next meme later this summer, wherever he lands. Let's move along on this list here. Our Jacqueline D'Agostino would really like this one, Sam. You like the Orlando Magic as a landing spot here. We know the Magic have kind of struggled with inconsistencies this season, 4-6 over the last 10, but a lot could change if you got the Greek Freak on your side.
Yeah, the Magic are the #1 team that could not do this at the deadline, but could do it in the offseason. The reason for that is that Paolo Banchero is still on his rookie deal right now, but in the offseason, his max rookie extension kicks in. His cap figure goes from around $15 million to around $40 million. Suddenly, the Magic have a path to matching the salary here. Paolo's had a pretty disappointing year, but he is a former #1 overall pick, former All-Star rather. If the Bucks could get him, that's at least a younger franchise-type player that they could build around moving forward. We'll see how the Magic do in the postseason. Right now, they're a play-in team. They just gave up 4 first-round picks for Desmond Bane. Being a play-in team is not good enough. I suspect if they have a disappointing April and maybe May, they'll reconsider some bigger changes. I don't know if that means Giannis, but a lot of the people who drafted Giannis in Milwaukee are now in Orlando's front office. So I suspect it's something they would maybe consider. I don't know if they're going to be quite ready to pull the trigger on Paolo Banchero, but it's an option that they could consider in the summer that wasn't available at the deadline.
All right, something to consider moving forward. Let's go over to Cleveland. They've already been busy making moves. We saw that sneaky James Harden trade midweek. Maybe a link up, John, with Giannis. Why do you think that would work?
Yeah, potentially, right? This one has some caveats because it really depends on what happens in the postseason. The Cavaliers obviously have big aspirations about winning the East, and they came in thinking that they were the favorites to win the conference, and it hasn't really played out that way. And they were desperate enough that they were willing to shuffle the deck and take a swing on James Harden and swap a 36-year-old in Harden for a 26-year-old in Darius Garland for James Harden, who's 36 years old. So maybe if they flame out again in the postseason, they look around and go, okay, well, we might have to shuffle this thing again. And yeah, Giannis would be awfully attractive right now. Right now, at before the trade deadline, they only had one tradable pick. This summer, they're going to have 2 tradable picks for sure. And then depending on some cap mechanics, they could have up to 3 tradable first-round picks. If I'm the Bucks and I'm doing a deal with the Cavaliers, the number one thing I'm saying is I want Evan Mobley. You want Giannis? I want Mobley. Now, the question is, would the Cavaliers be willing to do that, right? I mean, like, he's really good, Evan Mobley. He's younger, and he was the Defensive Player of the Year last year. And that just gets you into the conversation. But really, I think it comes down to what happens with the Cavaliers in the postseason this year. How far do they go? And then they revisit in the summer.
Let's talk about James Harden's old stomping grounds. If you can remember when he was a Brooklyn Net, it feels like it's been forever. They had a very interesting draft strategy this year. They had all those first-rounders. They drafted all of those first-rounders as well. So I'm curious here, why, John, would Giannis be interested in joining this version of the Brooklyn Nets?
Yeah, I'm not sure he would be. He wanted New York. It is in New York. I know he wanted the Knicks, though, right? So that's a different team. Yeah, you got to be specific. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. didn't end up moving on, so maybe pairing him with Michael Porter Jr. is something that could be of interest to him, but you have to get him first, right? So they do have a whole potpourri of young players. They drafted 5 players in the first round last year. Milwaukee, can I interest you in a Yegor Demon or Ben Saraf? And then some picks, maybe a Noah Clowney, sprinkle in a Nick Claxton. I'm not sure that the Nets could actually get it done here, but the idea of Michael Porter Jr. and Giannis, maybe that's something that would appeal to him.
All right. I don't know. I'm with you. That one feels kind of wonky here. But this next one kind of interests me here. The Houston Rockets made noise last year when they went out and got Kevin Durant. Could be fun, Sam, to see KD and Giannis playing next to each other. What do you think about that fit?
Yeah, the Rockets built this team intending to win the championship this year. They went into the luxury tax, and then Fred VanVleet tears his ACL, Steven Adams breaks his ankle, and here we are. They have $38 million in dead salary going into the playoffs. They go from a team that probably had a real chance to win the West to a team that might get knocked out in the first round or maybe the second. We're going to see how aggressive they want to be. If they want to make this trade, they have the assets to do it, whether it's Alperen Şengün or Amen Thompson. They do have a young top prospect to dangle in this deal. They have all the picks they're going to need. They have plenty of picks from other teams to dangle. They could do this if they want to do it. The question here is, are you being very aggressive and trying to win the championship in the next year or two on Kevin Durant's timeline? Or are you holding your assets and saying, we have enough with Şengün and Thompson and Reed Shepherd that we think we can wait, give ourselves a longer runway and do it later? So we'll see how the playoffs go, and then maybe they'll revisit this over the summer.
All right, let's wrap this up with the Detroit Pistons, the surprise of the season as they have just dominated the Eastern Conference. John, what's the likelihood, or what do you like about the fit of the Greek Freak in the Motor City?
I mean, Giannis is really good, right? But if I'm the Pistons, I like what I have right now. I mean, as you mentioned, they're leading the East. They've got Cade Cunningham, who's going to make All-NBA, and I have him top 3 in the MVP race. Jalen Duren's taken the leap. They dominate the paint. I'm not sure that they need exactly what Giannis offers because he doesn't space the floor, but he is Giannis. So this is one of those situations where if they flame out early in the playoffs and they have a really disappointing postseason, maybe they think about Giannis. But if I'm Trajan Langdon, who's the president of basketball operations in Detroit, really smart guy, patient, I'm just staying in pat and going with what I got right now because I like the look of this team.
One note that we didn't get to with the Brooklyn Nets, they have just released guard Cam Thomas. So some more moves being made there when it comes to Brooklyn. We'll have to watch and see how this season unfolds. It's been an exciting one already, fellas. Appreciate the time here on HQ Spotlight. It all comes back to this. Giannis Antetokounmpo. One of the most exciting players in the NBA. A lot of teams would love to have them on their team, and here's why. Just look at those statistics. Of course, he says he wants to stay in Milwaukee. We'll revisit this in June.